Greetings, my name is Dr. Candace Chambers and welcome to my channel. If you have not joined us before, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe and so that you can get great content concerning writing, college prep, teaching, all the things that we have on the channel. But today I want to talk about how do you respond when you do receive feedback on your writing. All right, so there are times when as writers we get feedback. So some feedback we get may be from an instructor, some may be from a journal, like if you submit a journal article and you get feedback from a reviewer, or it could just be feedback from a friend, a family member, or someone that you're having to write some type of composition for. Oftentimes when we get this feedback, sometimes it hurts and sometimes we like it, but emotions are involved. 3 tips on how to engage feedback on your writing. So the first tip that I have is to acknowledge. You do want to acknowledge that you're the writer. And oftentimes when we write, we're taking ideas that are in our head and putting it on the page. We like to call it in the writing world like metacognition, thinking about your thinking, also transferring thoughts from the brain to the page. And through that process, it can be very touching. We get very close to the words that we write. You may feel like, hey, like this person has marked up my entire paper, like I spent a lot of time on that, I feel some type of way about this. But you do want to just acknowledge the hard work that you did put into the process of writing. Organize them a certain way and just give yourself kudos or a pat on the back for actually trying and going through that process of trying to actually convey a thought. And sometimes we skip over that process. We just think about the final product. But if we think about just what it took to really think through what what you have in your head and put on the page is a lot in itself. So you want to just acknowledge when you do get the feedback, say, hey, I tried my best. Let's see what this reviewer or person who read my writing has to say. So the second tip is consider. All right, so whoever left feedback on your paper, they're a reviewer. The best way to go about looking at feedback is to think about it in an objective way. The person who leaves the feedback is someone that has an opinion, just essentially. I'm an editor, I'm a professor of English, and what I give my students or my clients is honestly my feedback or my opinion. But that opinion is coming from a certain place. In my perspective, it's coming from someone who reads writing, who's knowledgeable about writing conventions, and giving feedback on how to improve the writing, right? So you want to think about what positionality is the feedback coming from? Is it coming from my advisor, someone who's an expert in the field? Is it coming from a journal reviewer, someone who potentially researches in this area and is very knowledgeable? Is it coming from a family or a friend, family member or a friend who's just giving me feedback from just a general audience who may not, be an expert in the field? You want to think about positionality. But you also want to think about this is just someone's viewpoint. Essentially, you just take what you think will be helpful for your manuscript to move it forward. If there are there are places of feedback that you need to add, like if you're, let's say, your dissertation chair is like you need to add this, you may want to follow the instruction and add the feedback into your writing. Because sometimes, and I've been guilty of this as well, I've gotten feedback on my writing and I don't see it. I don't see how this is helping. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's too much. But as you look back over with a fresh eye, okay, those added details did actually help this manuscript. So you just want to see from your perspective as the writer, what's helpful. And then also okay, what feedback are they giving me that, I feel emotionally tied to my writing, but it actually could help my writing. That's how you want to think about it. But you also want to think about how you process the feedback. Don't take it too personal. All right, it's just writing. End of the day, you're still gonna eat, sleep, and live, right? It's just writing. You want to think through okay, I tried my best, and let me see how I can use this feedback to move forward. Sometimes we have to take a step back from feedback and really just go do something else. Wash the dishes, pet the cat, do something, so that way we can distance ourselves from the page a bit, and it helps us to be more receptive in the writing. And the last step is to reflect. All right, when you get the feedback, you've gone through the feedback, what they're asking for on a higher level, a lower level, sentence level, content. You're looking at all this feedback, and you want to reflect. What do I want my manuscript to look like in the end? What is the final product going to look like? Where am I going, right? Essentially, feedback is to help you to move forward in your process. And you want to think about how can I use what I've gotten from whoever's giving it to me to move forward in where I'm trying to go. Sometimes that takes stepping back, making a plan, on a Google Doc on your phone, I want this manuscript to do this. The purpose of my manuscript is to do that. Now you think about, okay, how can this feedback help me to reach that goal? And when you do that, it allows you to get back into the driver's seat of your manuscript to keep that autonomy as the writer, and you're just using the feedback to guide you along the way. Those are just a few quick tips on how to really engage feedback. Feedback can be really tough. Trust me, I know. No matter what level you're at, if you teach writing, if you read writing, if you're just starting to write, feedback can be tough, but oftentimes constructive feedback can really help progress your writing. And to end it off, don't take it too personal. Take a step back if you need to. Go through with a fine-tooth comb. Some people have people to look at their feedback for them, get all the good stuff out of there and then give it back to them. It just depends on how you operate, but just know that usually it's going to help your writing to progress and move forward. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to even put them under the video or reach out to my email address at edwritingservices@gmail.com, or you can visit our website at www.edwritingservices.org. All right, I will see you next time, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good one.